If you watched 300 and thought I need that workout, get ready. The ancient Greeks were insanely strong. No gyms, no supplements, no TikTok fitness. And believe it or not, no one yelling "Let's go, beast." How did they do it? Today, we're unraveling this historical mystery. And before you ask, no, their secret wasn't just divine genetics and gallons of olive oil. But let's be honest, that probably helped. Was their diet actually better than ours? Was their training as brutal as the movies show? How did they prevent injuries without physiotherapy? Did women also take part in this regime? And what does philosophy have to do with fitness? Hey Discovers, real quick before we dive back in, I've got a small favor to ask. If you love historical curiosities, epic battles, crazy mysteries, and mind-blowing stories that most people don't know about, then hit that subscribe button right now. That way, you won't miss any of our new videos and can keep uncovering insane facts every week. And of course, smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow and brings you even more awesome content. Alright, let's jump back into history. Imagine Kratos from God of War asking, "Boy, what did you eat today?" And Atreus replying, "Barley and olives, father." Ancient Greek nutrition was the backbone of their strength. Forget protein shakes. They relied on simple yet powerful foods that fueled their legendary physique. Their diet included olive oil, the holy grail of Greek nutrition, used for cooking, skincare, and even muscle massages. Whole grains, barley and wheat were their go-to carbs, proving Greeks were early adopters of clean bulking. Legumes, lentils and beans provided essential protein when meat was scarce. Fish and seafood, coastal Greeks enjoyed fresh catches, making their diet naturally high in omega-3s. Meat on special occasions. Unlike today, they reserved red meat for religious festivals and big events. Diluted wine, because drinking plain water was for barbarians, obviously. Fun fact, some athletes believed eating figs enhanced physical performance. So, was this the first superfood in history? Maybe. The Greeks weren't counting macros, but they knew that food was fuel. Their balanced diet kept them strong, agile, and ready for battle, or a philosophical debate, whichever came first. When we think of Greek warriors, Sparta steals the spotlight. But guess what? Other city-states also trained like beasts. Athens, Thebes, and Macedonia each had their own style of turning citizens into warriors. Athenian training focused on balance, intellectual and physical. Young men ran, wrestled, swam, and learned combat, all while debating philosophy. Imagine combining CrossFit with a TED Talk. The Sacred Band of Thebes? Elite warriors trained in pairs, motivated by, well, let's just say they had a strong emotional connection. Fighting side by side with your partner? Talk about accountability goals. And then there were the Macedonians. Alexander the Great soldiers were the original endurance athletes, marching for miles with heavy gear. Ever tried rucking? These guys invented it. Of course, Sparta still takes the crown for hardcore training. If you think leg day is rough, try running 20 kilometers in armor while dodging arrows. Training wasn't just about brute force, it was a lifelong commitment. Strength, endurance, discipline. The Greeks weren't just warriors, they were living machines, built for battle. Before yoga mats and foam rollers, the Greeks had their own ways to stay limber and injury-free. They knew that maintaining flexibility and muscle recovery was just as important as training itself. Greek warriors and athletes incorporated pre-training warm-ups. They didn't just jump into battle. They stretched and moved their joints before any physical activity. Olive oil massages, not just for looking shiny, these massages helped muscle recovery and reduced soreness. Hot and cold baths, the ancient version of contrast therapy. A hot soak to relax the muscles, followed by a cold dip to reduce inflammation. Post-exercise walks. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, recommended walking after intense workouts to ease muscle tension. Think of it this way. Rocky trained in the snow, but the Greeks trained on sand. Both methods toughened the body, but one probably had way better scenery. The key takeaway? They understood that a well-cared-for body performed better and lasted longer, something modern athletes still swear by today. When it comes to ancient Greek fitness, Men usually take center stage. But women weren't completely left out, especially in certain city-states. Spartan women trained just as hard as the men. They ran, jumped, wrestled, and even competed in sports to ensure they were strong enough to give birth to the next generation of warriors. Sparta was basically the first society to embrace the concept of strong is beautiful. Outside of Sparta, things were a little different. In Athens, for example, women's roles were more confined to the household. Instead of weightlifting, they were expected to focus on weaving and managing the home. Not exactly the same as an Olympic training program. But there was an exception, the Heraean Games. This was a women's-only version of the Olympics, held in honor of the goddess Hera. Competitors ran races and showcased their athleticism, proving that Greek women weren't just sitting on the sidelines. If ancient Greece had modern gyms, Sparta would be the hardcore powerlifting section, while Athens would be the group fitness class where most women just watched from the lobby. A harsh truth, but history isn't always fair. Even though opportunities were limited, the Greek belief in training the body and mind extended to some women, and those who trained proved that strength wasn't just for men. Being fit wasn't simply about appearances for the Greeks. It was a way of life that was closely related to both personal greatness and philosophy. Arete, or the pursuit of perfection in mind, body, and spirit, was the name given to this way of thinking. Socrates and Plato were not merely sitting around chatting all day. They held that a strong body was necessary for a strong mind. Physical training wasn't distinct from academic pursuits. It was important to being a well-rounded person. Greek warriors and athletes trained to reach their own best as well as to win tournaments. They aimed for mental toughness, endurance, and discipline in addition to strength. The Greeks had already perfected the technique of using physical trials to develop mental toughness, which we may now refer to as mindset training. They realized that improving their physical fitness also improved their mental acuity, making them more capable of discussing philosophy, politics, or combat. Fitness was more than simply a pastime for them. It served as the cornerstone of excellence. What did we discover then? The Greeks were experts at striking a balance between strength, stamina, diet, and mental focus. They weren't simply about lifting weights. They prepared for life itself, for sport, and for battle. Would you be able to take an ancient Greek workout, then? Tell me in the comments below. If you like this in-depth look into fitness and history, please press the like button, subscribe, and check back soon for more amazing material.